What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's video, the Valeton GP-100 all-electric guitar, amp, and cab sounds only. So what's going on, everybody? I decided to do this video today because with all the modelers that are out there, you see a lot of people, myself included, running through all the stock factory presets and all of them, which is all well and good, but what I always wonder is, what is the sound of just the amp and cabs themselves? Because usually, for myself at least, in a recording situation, if I was going to use a modeler like this, I would want to get a good amp and cab sound only. And then I would use all the, reverbs, delays, choruses, all those other kind of effects directly in the DAW. That's what I always wondered. So that's why I put together this video of nothing but all of the electric guitar, amp, and cab sounds only. Signal chain is a little different today. I'm using my Gibson Melody Maker style Les Paul, or Gibson Les Paul style Melody Maker, whichever way you want to call it, with a single EMG humbucker in the bridge position. I'm going direct into the GP-100 and out of the two stereo 1/4-inch outs directly into the interface, and everything that you're hearing back is just the GP-100 direct with no post-production whatsoever. So, there's 39 guitar amps in total. Now, it sees the different channels of the same amp as a different amp. For example, the Mesa Boogie Lone Star, it has the Mesa Boogie Lone Star clean channel, as well as the Mesa Boogie Lone Star overdrive channel. Counts it as two separate amps. Now, there's a wild card in here for the two separate channels of the 1959 Fender Bassman amp for both the normal and the bright channel. I call this a wild card because it's supposed to be a bass guitar amp. But as we all know, God knows how many guitar players have used a Fender Bassman. So, some of these amps don't have the corresponding cabinet/speaker that goes with them. In this case, I'm going to choose the closest cab/speaker that goes with the amp. I'll be keeping the settings of all the amps at 12 o'clock. For high gain amps, the gain will be set at 12 o'clock. For clean amps, I'll put the gain at about 9 o'clock or a bit lower depending on the amp. For the Fender amps, and I know that they can go high gain as well, but I would usually use a Fender amp for a clean sound. So for all of the Fender amps, I chose to do them as clean sounds with the gain at about 9 o'clock or a little lower depending on the amp. Now, the reason I decided to keep everything at noon, well, like I said, there's going to be 39 different sounds that I'm going to go through with you that have all the different electric guitar amp sounds, and that would make for way too long of a video if we adjusted all the settings. So everything is at 12 noon. Everything's at 12 noon with the exception of the clean amps, which are set at about 9 to maybe a little bit lower. Alrighty, without any further ado, let's get to our first sound. This is a Marshall JCM 800 with a Marshall 412 cabinet with Celestion G12T-75 speakers in it. So once again, that was a Marshall JCM 800 with a Marshall 4x12 cabinet with Celestion G12T-75 speakers. Now, this next sound we have here is a Marshall JTM 45 with the same speaker cabinet, a Marshall 4x12 cabinet with Celestion G12T-75 speakers. So that was a Marshall JTM 45 with the same speaker cabinet as the last example, a Marshall 4x12 cabinet with Celestion G12T-75 speakers. This next sound is a Marshall JMP50 with a Marshall 1960 AV 4x12 cabinet. So that was a Marshall JMP50 with a Marshall 1960 AV 412 cabinet. Next up, we have one of the two Mesa Boogie dual rectifiers. For whatever reason, there was two of them. They didn't seem to make much of a difference in the description except for dual V and dual M. So this one is the dual M. It's a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier with a Mesa Boogie dual rectifier 4x12 cabinet. So that was the first of the two Mesa Boogie dual rectifiers, the one that's known as Dual V, with the Mesa Boogie dual rectifier 4x12 cabinet. Now, here's the second Mesa Boogie dual rectifier, M Dual M, with the same cabinet, the Mesa Boogie dual rectifier 4x12 cabinet. So that was the second Mesa Boogie dual rectifier, the Dual M, the Mesa Boogie dual rectifier 4x12 cabinet with that once again. Now, next up, we got a Mesa Boogie Lone Star on the clean channel with the Mesa Boogie Lone Star 2x12 cabinet. So that was a Mesa Boogie Lone Star on the clean channel with the Mesa Boogie Lone Star 2x12 cabinet that goes with it. Now we have the Mesa Boogie Lone Star in the overdrive channel, once again with the Mesa Boogie Lone Star 2x12 cabinet. So that was the Mesa Boogie Lone Star Overdrive channel, once again with the Mesa Boogie Lone Star 2x12 cabinet. All right, next up, we got a Mesa Boogie Mark II C Plus on channel 1 with the Mesa Boogie Road King 4x12 cabinet. So that was a Mesa Boogie Mark II C+ on channel 1 with the Mesa Boogie Road King 4x12. Now, next up, we got the Mesa Boogie Mark II C+ channel 2, once again with the Mesa Boogie Road King 4x12 cabinet. So that was the Mesa Boogie Mark II C+ channel 2 with the Mesa Boogie Road King 4x12 cabinet. Next up, we have the Mesa Boogie Mark IV lead channel, once again with the Mesa Boogie Road King 4x12. Alright, so that was the Mesa Boogie Mark IV lead channel with the Mesa Boogie Road King 4x12. Next up, we have the 1959 Fender Bassman on the normal channel with the 1959 Fender Bassman 4x10 cabinet. Alright, so that was a 1959 Fender Bassman on the normal channel with the 1959 Fender Bassman 4x10 cab. Next up is the 1959 Fender Bassman on the bright channel with the 1959 Fender Bassman 4x10 cabinet. So that was a 1959 Fender Bassman on the bright channel with the 1959 Fender Bassman 4x10 cabinet. Next up, we have a 1965 Fender Twin Reverb with the corresponding 1965 Twin Reverb 2x12 cabinet. That was a 1965 Fender Twin Reverb with the corresponding 1965 Fender Twin Reverb 2x12 cabinet. Next up, we've got a Fender Tweed Deluxe with a custom modified Fender 2x12 cab. All right, that was a Fender Tweed Deluxe with a custom modified 2x12 cabinet. Next up, we have a Vox AC30HW on the normal channel with a Vox single 112 cabinet. So that was a Vox AC30HW on the normal channel with a Vox AC15 single 12 cabinet. Next up, we've got the Vox AC30HW top boost channel with the Vox AC15 112 cabinet. All right, so that was the Vox AC30HW top boost channel with a Vox AC15 with a single 12 cabinet in it. Next up, we've got the Soldano SLO 100 with the crunch channel with the matching Soldano 4x12 cab. That was the Soldano SLO on the crunch channel with the Soldano 4x12 cabinet. Next up, we have the Soldano SLO 100 on the overdrive channel with the Soldano 4x12 cabinet. That was the Soldano SLO 100 on the overdrive channel with the Soldano 4x12 cabinet. Next up, we got a Matchless Chieftain clean tone with a 2-rock 2x12 cabinet. All right, that was a Matchless Chieftain clean tone with a 2-rock 2x12. Next up, we have a Matchless Chieftain again, but this time with the dirty tone, and it's using the 2-rock 2x12 once again. All right, that was the Matchless Chieftain dirty tone with the 2-rock 2x12 cabinet. Next up, we have the Friedman Brown Eye BE channel with a vintage Marshall 4x12 cabinet with Celestion greenback speakers. So that was the Friedman Brown Eye BE channel with a vintage Marshall 4x12 cabinet with Celestion greenbacks. Next up, we have the Friedman Brown Eye on the normal channel, once again with the vintage Marshall 4x12 cabinet with Celestion greenback speakers. All right, so once again, that was a Friedman Brown Eye on the normal channel, once again with a vintage Marshall 4x12 cabinet with Celestion greenback speakers. Next up, we have an Engl Savage 120 E610 with an Engl 4x12 cab. All right. Once again, that was an Engl Savage 120 E610 with the Engl 4x12 cabinet. Next up is an Engl Powerball 2 E645/2 channel 4 with an Engl 4x12 cab. So that was an Engl Powerball 2 E645/2 channel 4 with an Engl 4x12 cabinet. All right, so next up we have a Bogner Shiva 20th anniversary version channel 1 with a Bogner Shiva 1x12 cabinet. So once again, that was a Bogner Shiva 20th anniversary version, channel 1, with the Bogner Shiva 1x12 cabinet. Next up, once again, we have the Bogner Shiva 20th anniversary version, channel 2, once again with the Bogner Shiva 1x12 cab. All right, that was the Bogner Shiva 20th anniversary version, channel 2, with the Bogner Shiva 1x12 cab. Next up, we have the Bogner Ecstasy Blue channel. vintage mode, once again with the Bogner Shiva 1x12 cab. All right, that was a Bogner Ecstasy Blue Channel Vintage Mode with the Bogner Shiva 1x12. All right, and next up, we've got the Bogner Ecstasy Blue Channel Modern Mode, once again with the Bogner Shiva 1x12. So once again, that was the Bogner Ecstasy Blue Channel in Modern Mode with the Bogner Shiva 1x12 cabinet. Next up, we have the Bad Cat Hot Cat 30 Clean Channel with the Black Cat Hot Cat 1x12 cabinet. Alrighty, that was the Bad Cat Hot Cat 30 Clean Channel with the Bad Cat Hot Cat 1x12 cabinet. Next up, we have the Bad Cat Hot Cat 30 Overdrive Channel, once again with the Black Cat Hot Cat 1x12 cabinet. All right, that was the Bad Cat Hot Cat 30 Overdrive Channel with the Black Cat Hot Cat 1x12 cabinet. Next up, we got the Dr. Z Maz 8 SR Combo Clean Sound with the 1980s Mesa Boogie 112 cab. That was the Dr. Z Maz 8 SR Combo Clean Sound with the 1980s Mesa Boogie 1x12 cabinet. Next up, we got the Dr. Z Maz 8 SR Combo Dirty Tone, once again with the 1980s Mesa Boogie 1x12 cab. Once again, that was the Dr. Z Maz 8 SR Combo Dirty Tone with a 1980s Mesa Boogie 1x12 cab. Next up, we've got the Grind Rod Pendragon PG20C normal channel with the bright off, and I'm using a Marshall 2550 2x12 cabinet with it. All right, so that was the Grind Rod Pendragon PG20C normal channel bright off with a Marshall 2550 2x12 cabinet. Next up, we got the Grind Rod Pendragon PG20C drive channel, once again with the Marshall 2550 2x12 cabinet. Once again, that was the Grind Rod Pendragon PG20C drive channel, once again with the Marshall 2550 2x12 cabinet. Next up, we got an orange Rocker Verb 100, the dirty channel, with an orange PPC 412 4x12 cabinet. All right. Once again, that was an orange Rocker Verb 100 on the dirty channel with the orange PPC 412 cabinet. All right. Next up, we got a Peavey 5150 on the lead channel with the Peavey 6505 4x12 cabinet. Alrighty, that was a Peavey 5150 on the lead channel with a Peavey 6505 4x12 cabinet. Next up, we got a Roland Jazz Chorus with the Roland Jazz Chorus 2x12. All right, that was a Roland Jazz Chorus with a Roland Jazz Chorus 2x12 cabinet. Next up, we got the Supro Dual Tone 1624T, channel 1 and 2, dirty tone, with a Supro 1x6 cabinet. So once again, that was a Supro dual tone 1624T, channels 1 plus 2 with the dirty tone with a Supro 1x6 speaker cabinet. Last but most certainly not least, we have a Diezel VH4 with a Diezel 4x12 cab. All right, that was a Diezel VH4 with a Diezel 4x12 cabinet. That about does it for the Valeton GP-100, all electric guitar, amp, and cab sounds only. Thanks for checking out this video. Do what makes you happy.